I got goals to chase, I got roads to pave. Not yet where I wanna be, but I got close today. I went ghost today, I got least to say. I've been focused on these dreams like I didn't sleep today. Y'all can be so amazed, y'all ain't seen nothing like this.
When we look at the hobby and when we think about all of the different brands we could select in the hobby, every year there's literally a new product that enters the industry, right? So this year, for example, Flux went from being just a Chronicles hit to a new product. How do we identify which new products or brands to go after? How do we sort of identify legacy brands that have performed very well, that don't perform well now? You know, if we look at Chronicles as like a beta test that Panini does for different brands, like they'll throw brands into Chronicles, and then you see like Flux. Flux was never a product before. Spectra, you know, people forget Obsidian was a Chronicles brand before. Select. All of these brands, you know, Panini uses Chronicles as almost like a test gauge for these brands to see how people respond to them and how the cards perform, and then they release entire sets of these brands after. So I think you know, as those brands sort of emerge, the next question is like Obsidian. If you look at Obsidian, Obsidian went from being a subsect in Chronicles to being a really high value hobby box. Yeah. And you know, it's a 7-card hit hobby box. And then you look at something like Flux, right? And Flux went from being a Chronicles brand to being retail blasters to also being a hobby box. So I think, you know, as part of deciding which sort of brand to go after and what to collect, you know, every brand is different. Every brand has a different aesthetic. Every brand has different hits. Every brand will perform differently within the industry. But I think as a general rule of thumb, you know, if you're buying base cards of a brand and that brand happens to also have a lot of retail, and we said this about, you know, Select, for example. This is Select, greatest example. Select, first time Select was a retail product, traditionally was just a hobby product, probably for like 9 years. Yeah. Was just a hobby product. Select comes into the game as a retail product. All of those Select sort of base cards immediately now have less of a value because you can't just hit those cards in hobby boxes. You know, you can hit a Joe Burrow Select rookie in any blaster, any hanger, any fat pack. And the interesting thing that I noticed, and I think, you know, this is a buy opportunity, is old Select brands have actually deflated in price because the new Select brand is now retail. But if you look at the pop counts, you look at the print runs, like those old Select brands didn't get reprinted. They were always hobby only. So I think eventually collectors will realize, like, why is Select getting, you know, less love now that it's the new Select is retail. So it's interesting how those brands work. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. 3235 Yonge Street. Follow us at Relikks. We appreciate, love all the support. And we're going to keep pushing out new content for you guys. Thank you.